Hello, I'm Kara, and today we are going to be doing a Twin Peaks build of the Double R Diner. This isn't like a sleek, cool looking diner. It's very much a local country diner feel. For the wallpaper, I definitely wanted wood paneling, but that first one just seemed like a little bit too much. The Double R Diner has a U-shaped counter. Most of the time you see diners, they have that like really long counter. So when I was building out this room, I had to make accommodations for that. I also wish that in the game they had a diner counter table that was just purely a rectangle and not rectangle with a curved side. That way I could have made it a little bit more seamless. When you watch the show, the first season, you'll see that the diner set actually changes a bit. So when I'm trying to figure out what furniture to use, they have these dark red, almost like burgundy seats in one of the versions. But here the red is too bright, so I decided to go with the cream. I feel like you have to have a Juke Box player, so I'm adding one in. I also think this wall clock actually matches pretty closely to the one in the actual diner. The center of the horseshoe has a lot of the kitchen supplies, like coffee machine. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different things, but I don't have a whole lot of room here, so I kind of stuck to the espresso maker to start with. The square diner table wasn't really capturing the look I was going for. Again, I kind of wanted to look a little bit more rustic, a little bit more mismatch, so I decided to use this wood plank table instead. Not only do I think it looks better in this situation, it's also narrower, so I can add the seats in more seamlessly. Now, I have to have a piece of cherry pie. That's an absolute must, and cups of coffee, so you'll see that. I also wanted to pick out some foods you would probably get in a diner. Like, I think the French fries really capture that. I like some of the condiments that I used on the table. I keep moving around this pastry display. I'm not quite sure where to put it. In the show, it is in the front, but I wasn't quite sure if that was going to work. I was still having thoughts that I might possibly make the horseshoe bigger. I did play around a little bit with the diner counters to make it longer, but ultimately it just didn't look as clean as it does right now. I think these planter boxes, especially in the darker wood, again play into that country vibe. I added more columns because it adds a little bit more dimension to the room. I also deliberately didn't match them to the other ones because I think it gives a more decoration style of, let's just kind of throw together what we have. We care more about giving people food and not necessarily about the decor. I think that's especially evident in my wall art because, let's be honest, it doesn't really go together. It's like we got different color frames, different types of art. It looks like somebody just went to a thrift store and decided to put it on the wall. I love these little wall sconces. In the actual show, the lighting kind of changes, so sometimes you'll see the sconces and sometimes you don't. Even with this room at the max dimensions, I don't have enough room to add absolutely everything, but I did want to add some table elements to it rather than it all being booths. Also, back then they actually had public phones, so I definitely wanted to include that. There's a lot of signage in this diner, so I had to figure out how to add that in. I went on Pinterest and I found some, custom designs that I was able to use. I even put in a door to the kitchen, and in the front, I added some windows. This room really came together nicely. Again, because there's a lot of changes in the actual show, it's not an exact match. In my opinion, I think it really captures the essence of the Double R Diner. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, which will be the Red Room. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe.